10 secrets of a good man's mind. I'll see you right after this. Hello and welcome back. My name is Chengi, and right here sitting next to me is the blonde goddess of Dorset in the world. Greta Bereisaite. Did I say that right?
Bereisaite.
Bereisaite.
But works
Bereisaite.
Bereisaite. No, don't say that because in English, yeah.
Well,
Bereisaite is
Greta.
Greta.
Greta B. You all know who Greta is.
Yeah.
And we love her on this channel. And obviously I had to have her speak a word or two about this series of The Secret of a Man's Mind. So, you know, we heard from R.C. Blake, so now we've got the extraordinaire dating coach. So I'm going to ask her the 10 questions that I ask every one of our guests, Greta.
Excited.
And I've got a feeling she's going to be giving us the 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Greta.
Exciting. Let's see what we are.
Question number 1.
Right.
What is your definition of a good man?
Oh, a good man. How I would describe a good man now would be a godly man.
Mm-hmm.
A godly masculine man, because
Right.
if you're a godly man you will be masculine.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So fearless, confident, somebody that has your back, someone that's provider, someone that's very, very generous, in control of his emotions, same as we are taught as women to control our emotions.
Yes.
They should be doing the same.
Absolutely.
Someone that speaks with you in a softer tone of voice, so he doesn't treat you as another male. He understands that you're a woman and you're precious.
Love that.
You know, somebody that's, you know, as we say in the Bible, like the Christ loved the church, you know, like that loves you with his heart, that understands that if you're his wife, it's still forever.
Yes.
You know, so you better try and make it, you know, like somebody that's kind of humble.
Yes.
Humble and real, rather than on the surface, shallow, everything shiny, you know, showing off the chicks, you know, getting his Porsche, you know, Porsche or something to show off, having, you know, it's like real, a real man.
I love that. I love your definition of a godly man, and really in that regard you're saying somebody who mimics God, who mimics Christ, who's got that nature, you know, that goodness. I love that definition. I love that. I think we can work with that, Greta. Question number 2. What do you think his spiritual requirements are for a woman? What do you think he would want? Such a man, what would he want spiritually in a woman?
So I think, which of course is like kind of disagreeing with today's world, the worldly world, you know, it's like, I believe, well, we all should believe, or what the Bible says, you know, we should complement each other.
Yeah.
So, you know, masculinity, femininity. But we as women nowadays, we really forgot or don't know or not taught what it is to be feminine, how to be feminine. And we actually are taught the opposite of that, and we call it feminism.
Yes.
So we get so confused and we get so sucked into that, and we think that we behave in the right way, or like how guys do it.
Yeah.
And when we meet these masculine men and we clash, we literally like, we clash, we don't do this, we do this.
Yeah.
And when this guy gets turned off by you and he dumps you, you know, and you're like, why? You know, I'm like following this world, I'm like super sexy, and like I'm trying to seduce you, and I'm texting and pursuing, and we splitting the bill, I'm such a catch. And it's like, it's not working. Same as for you ladies, like when you meet a man that's feminine, what do?
It's a turn off.
Thank you, next. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want a masculine man, you have to be feminine, but you need to know the qualities of a feminine woman, how to be feminine.
Yeah.
Allow him to give, you know, receive, don't pursue, don't chase, don't wear your heart on a sleeve, don't go crazy. Like, I think there are a lot of really good biblical examples that as a woman you should not be going crazy. Even if you just look at the book of Proverbs, you know, it says like, be modest, stay calm. You know, when somebody's like going crazy at you, stay calm. Like, you don't put fire onto fire. Give him some water, you know, and his tone of voice will change, you know, but it doesn't mean that you need to submit. If he's still disrespectful, you can leave.
Yes, of course.
You know, like, you're not talking to me in a gentle manner. I'm a woman.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, what are you, you know, like, but I'm not gonna shout at you because I'm not a man.
Yes.
You know, and then you're like, okay, well, can you please like tone your voice down? Oh, you didn't. Well, I can't talk to you when you're like this, you know.
Love it. Love it.
And then if he continues, you just remove yourself, and he's like, oh, this is so disrespectful. No, it's not. I just can't talk to you like it's like that. If you want to, you know. And when you remove yourself and he knows not to do it again, because what you'll do next, you'll remove yourself again.
Yeah.
So it's also setting boundaries in a feminine way.
Yes.
You're not going crazy and fighting, you're actually setting it in a feminine way.
Absolutely.
So I think there's a lot to learn.
Absolutely. And I love that you said about, you know, when that respect is not honored, to leave. I say that all the time. Like, when that femininity, your way of being feminine is not honored, then we can walk away. What we don't do is become masculine, right? I love that you said that, because I think I get a lot of comments like, oh, what if he's not respecting me? What if, well, we still don't get masculine, right? You just...
Sorry, hon. And what's the point to fight with a man? What's the point to, like, he's the natural masculine and you're like pretending to be in order to fight him? Who's gonna win?
Exactly.
He'll like... honey, you're gonna be crying after.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is no point.
Yeah, 100%. You know? 100%. You'll never win.
No.
I always say to women, you can't win being a masculine. No. Like a man can't win being feminine. No. You just can't. Love it. Okay, question number 3. I'm loving this. What are his social expectations when you meet his mom, his colleagues, his ministry friends? You know, what do you think this good man expects of you as his woman when you're meeting his people?
I think this is a very good question, and I also think that there is a place for it, meaning that if he just started to there are different stages of that. Somewhere where he started to date you, you're in a relationship, you live together perhaps, or you're married. So these are very different. How you behave with his family and friends when you're married, and how you behave with his family and friends when you're just dating, when you're just like maybe beginning stages of a relationship. Yeah. You know, so if he's kind of like ready to introduce you to his family and friends because he sees you as potential for something big, you know, when you go in there, don't try and be like besties with his mom like straight away, you know. It's like you still have this barrier, she still doesn't know you. Like, stay a bit modest, you know, observe him, maybe even mirror his behavior a little bit. If he says, you know, like, oh, my mom is cooking, do you want to help her, you know, or like, you know, like, or go chat to my mom, that's fine. Like, go do those things. But if he's just kind of sitting there observing, you're having a conversation, kind of stay in your own zone, you know, and don't try to like take over and overwhelm everything, or make besties, because if you're gonna start like trying to impress everyone in his family, or ask too many questions about him, he will see that as you being in your masculine, and he will see that as you pursuing his family in order to in order for them to like you. And then once we like you, we go like, oh, you have such an amazing girlfriend, you should marry her. So men are smart like that. We're very strategical. We see this stuff, we analyze it, but we don't really share it with us. And then we step back after this, and then you're like, oh, why is he not calling or texting? I just met his family. You know, like he's not calling or texting because you overdone it, because you showed to the whole family how kind of into him you are, and you kind of like, you know, giving hints for them to like you, so we would convince them. So you kind of just be modest, be in your place, be nice, polite, don't overdo it. That's the key.
I love that.
And don't do, you know, also like, who am I, like, you know, the,
I love that.
just,
and I love Greta's perspective on this, because I think most times people think, I want to make a good impression on the family, and they're so focused on making a good impression on their family that they forget that he's still choosing you. Like you're still in that, you're choosing him still, he's still choosing you. So he's observing you with his family. It's not just about his family liking you so much that they're going to beg him to keep you, because I think sometimes we play to that arena. It's about you being aware.
And also, it's like, it's easier to stay a bit more modest, still very nice and polite, but more like coming in and seeing, will I like them?
I love that.
Like, because that way you're not trying to impress them, you're more observing them. You know, so you're still polite, you're in the conversation, but you observe it. So when you have this attitude, and you know, a few days later, he's like, what did you think about my family? That's a different, we have a different scenario, you know, like.
That's why she's, I call it the dating strategist, the guru. Like Greta thinks about absolutely every nuance. And I love that. Because you're right, I think we don't realize that we still have a responsibility to like them. Right?
We need to see, do we match, our values match? Do our parents get on with mine? What do they say? Like, you know.
I had a similar situation where I met an ex-boyfriend's family. I couldn't stand them.
Exactly.
But I was so caught up in being with him that they eventually broke the relationship. But I saw it coming, because I knew that I didn't like them, they didn't like me. But I was so focused on making sure that he saw me getting on with his family that I didn't actually behave like myself. Because if I just responded to the way I was feeling and being polite and normal, he would have been thinking, what did you think of my family? Like you said, right? So, you know, I think we tend to, when we like somebody, we really like this guy, we want to perform for the family. But then he starts to think, I think she's just a bit too much. Love that inside coach. See, that's why we bring her along. Number 4, what is his emotional core needs? Like emotionally, this man, we know men have emotions too. What do you think he wants to feel when he's around a good woman?
I think the key, sorry ladies, I'm just
just being a princess.
Just quickly, you look okay. Yeah, I think for men, respect is a very big thing. And just kind of allowing him to be the masculine. You know, so I think when you do all the things that Chengi teaches, right, and you are behaving as a feminine woman and you're allowing him to be the masculine, this is all fantastic. And you know, like a guy starts falling for you and he sees all of that. But I noticed that a lot of my clients, that guys also need to know that you will have their back. That you will have their back. So for example, if he is, let's say, somebody that's generous, somebody that's got a business, somebody that's got many things going on, and let's say a lot of men like that, we do feel a little bit insecure because we go like, maybe she just only wants me for my money. So it's really important to say it somewhere or imply it somehow that, you know, it's for better and for worst, not just when everything is going good and you're the masculine and the feminine, and like, you know, like I've seen so many examples. Let's say I was watching this TV show, it was like a Russian billionaire, and he was, you know, dating this English lady, and she was very feminine, like really, you know, like just how we teach, very, very feminine. And he treated her like a total princess, and he was the masculine. He was doing all the cool stuff, you know, like, you know, he just was so charming. And then he got threatened by Russia, you know, and he basically lost everything. Or he kind of had to freeze. All his assets were frozen, and he kind of had to be like in France, and he is like holiday home. And she left him. She left him. She said, I can't do it because you know, I just can't do it. I want to live my life. And a lot of men are terrified of this. They are literally terrified of that. You know, so
100%.
You know, you kind of, he needs to feel like it's really important to be attractive, and to, you know, for him to fall for you, and for you to fall for him, and etc. But when all this happens, he needs to feel that you're gonna be, that you'll have his back. Loyalty. For better or for worse. And I find it that nowadays it's something that makes a guy to be too scared to propose to you. You know, and once we understand that you will have it, that's when will you marry me happens.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Gems. Clearly God is speaking.
Oh, for sure.
This is definitely that loyalty piece. And I remember, I think we spoke about that in the Secrets of a Man's Mind masterclass that you must go and get. But you touched on this really profoundly. I'm really glad you said it, because men need loyalty. They just need to know that for better, for worse. Girl. Moving on. Number 5. What does he fear in dating and relationships? What does a good man fear?
I think the biggest fear is that you will change. And it's kind of valid.
I didn't
fear.
share the course with her. She's just saying these things. I didn't tell her
No, it's
anything.
in your course. That's hilarious. We like on the same page completely. It's so funny.
Love it.
That's the biggest fear, because we go through this so much, you know, and majority of women change when we get into a relationship. We get too comfortable. I think the most important thing is to have self-control through your whole life. You have to have self-control with people, with how, you know, you can't just behave. I had this conversation with my mom, ladies. She said, Greta, you know, with your dad, I can never behave just myself, just whichever way I feel like. And I said, well, welcome, Mom, to like reality of happy marriages. You know, we must stay in control of who we are, of the best version of ourselves. You know, and yes, you can slip here and there once in a blue moon. Everybody does that. That's normal. But once you start to slip every week, and you then give yourself excuses for slipping, for, let's say, pursuing him, for getting too impatient, for maybe acting too spoiled, or maybe taking him for granted because now he's treating you like a queen, and you're like, you know, this can add up as well. So this is, I would say, that's the biggest kind of fear.
She said it. I'm not going to say it again. Thank you. The next question. The next question is, but what does he look for in a wife, a partner, that long term? What's a quality that he thinks, right, that is what I'm gonna, that's wife, that's long term?
I think I would say maybe Christian guys and more godly guys, you know, more like you have to bring in something as well to the table. You know, I know we don't talk about this much in the videos, you know, because a lot of ladies, they overgive when they in a marriage, or so, you know, because majority overgive, we just like overgive, we just like, oh, you need to step back, you need to step back. But some ladies don't give enough, and it's just important to have that balance, and it's important to see each other as a team, you know, and like you're building, like even in the Bible it says a godly woman builds her house. And it says, you know, like there is so many proverbs where the husband is working and she's like, you know, like patching the clothes or something, you know, she is giving as well. It's like the giving is you're complementing each other by giving.
Yes.
You know, he does the masculine things, you do the feminine things. Or maybe you do, you know, you have a business together, but you have different roles in that business. You know, so I think it's important to bring something in so he doesn't feel like he's robbed, like you're taking advantage of him.
Yes.
You know, if you'll just sit there as a princess and like watch TV all day, that's boring. You know, that's like you need to need to be there for him as well.
Absolutely. I think with the femininity message as well, it's sort of taken things to a whole other place, right?
Yeah.
And for the reasons you've mentioned, where women sometimes just overgive.
Yeah.
And so we've kind of been like, okay, no, you give, overgive. But actually, we've kind of abdicated the role of the feminine woman to bring something to the table. Now, I've got a video about bringing things to the table, but we're not talking about that, that spirit. We're talking about a spirit where we are, and I was saying this in the course, that we have dehumanized men. Like, they have no needs. Their only need is to make me happy. Their only need is to give me stuff. Their only need is to buy me stuff. Like, no, they have needs. They have things that we have to support, be loyal to, and emotional needs. Like you were saying, even financially, you know, and there's a conversation I was having with R.C. Blakes. He was saying that his wife brought in the beginning their marriage, she was the bread, like she was bringing in the money, and he wasn't bringing so much, but he was still the masculine man. And I think we've kind of taken this message so far that you can't be with a man who has less than you. You know, it's really about what I bring right now is for the team.
But only a very masculine man can handle you bringing more. And still feeling confident with that, and still lifting you up and saying you go for those goals, you go for those dreams. I realize that because my cousin is like that, and I'm just completely shocked how their relationship works. You know, his girlfriend is, she just earns more, you know, and she's very ambitious and etc etc, and he tries, but like, I remember she was in a job earning a lot, and there was an opportunity for her to kind of upgrade herself, and she was too insecure, and he's like, you go and you nailed it, because you're much better, and like go, you know, he just supported her so much in it, and she went and did it, and she got the better position, you know.
100%.
And he's like, he's not a ladies, a feminine man, he's very like, I'm the guy, you know. So
100%.
It's just,
a masculine man is very self-assured. And he's not lazy. A masculine man is not going to stay home while you go to work and he flicks channels, right? A feminine man is quite happy to stay home, flick channels while you go to work. But a masculine man, he will work whatever he's working to the best of his ability. And if he knows he's putting his best in what he is doing, and he still can't make the same kind of money you're making, he's not going to be intimidated.
He's not insecure.
No. Because he knows he does.
He'll get there. He knows he'll get there.
He'll get there.
He'll know. He's confident he'll get there, and he's like, you keep going, but you know.
I'll get there. I love that. And I think so many of us have kind of thought, oh well, if he doesn't bring as much as I do, because there are a lot of feminine men that bring a lot more than you do. But you have to
be careful that obviously with the guy you're choosing, because there's a lot of men that will take advantage of you, and you need to see that. Well, but my cousin, he paid for he was like earning less and paid for everything. He just literally wouldn't let her pay. He would not, you know.
I mean, he can still pay for dates. That's what R.C. Blakes was saying. It's like, I still paid for our lives, even though she brought more. You can still pay. Like, a masculine man is going to want to.
And then you start to trust a guy like that as well.
Absolutely.
Because you're like, okay, you earn less, but you're paying all this stuff, and I have this house. You know, maybe you could move in, you know, because I trust you, because you're giving so much, you know.
And girls, if you want to know about your personal situation, you can call Greta or call myself, but we can help you out. But really, it's so important that this piece is understood. So great. Right. What does he desire but is afraid to ask for?
Desire, trust. Trust is a big thing.
Yeah. To trust
to trust the man, to trust him. A lot of women are very insecure, and it really shows. you know, and just to trust him. Like, for example, he's going somewhere. Oh, where are you? You went out, you didn't tell me, where did you go? What time are you coming back? Who is with you? You know, like, which friend? Oh, I don't know that friend. What is like, you know, like questioning a guy. And when he feels like you don't trust him because you're insecure, so when you don't trust a guy because you're insecure, he starts to lose attraction for you because he sees you as insecure, you know. And it's just like, so I think trust. And ladies, like, when a guy is choosing you as his girlfriend or a wife, he chose you from all of these other girls, you know. You're the chosen one. So you need to own it.
Absolutely.
You know, you're like, you have to be confident in it. You cannot be like, oh, who's that? Is that your friend? You know, what's the history? Have you guys been together? Have you kissed? Have you ever fun? None of these questions matter. He chose you. And when you overthink these questions, like when you think about these questions and he gives you like a bit, let's say, oh, we dated in the past and now, you know, you're sitting there and overthinking. When you start to stalk the girl, and it's like, which picture did he like? You know, where did he make a? You're like, oh, what did we look like together? You know, it's like,
love it.
Trust him and stay secure.
He needs your trust. He desires your trust, and he can't just keep asking for it. Just give him trust until he gives you a reason not to.
Exactly, exactly. Don't trust, ladies. If a guy is letting you down and you're seeing the red flags, you don't date this guy.
No.
Right?
No.
Like, you don't date this guy.
No.
So we don't tell you to trust this guy.
No.
You know, but if he's giving and providing and like step by step, you know, you see that he's good, and now you start to mistrust him, then it's like, this guy will probably let you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Love it. 8. What is his position on money and women? What does he think about how money should be spent and women? What is this?
Well, biblically, a man should be generous and a woman should be generous, but in order for a guy to stay a leader or to feel in the masculine, he is the one that needs to like support the family, give more, provide. You know, I feel like a woman's role is more like, yeah, she should be generous with many things, but a woman's role is more like in keeping the relationships together, keeping the family together. You know, more like nurturing, like the homey stuff. Whereas a guy's role is more like being the provider. And yes, of course, things have changed nowadays and you can complement each other. You can do things as a team, different type of stuff. Technically, a guy should feel as a provider and he should be giving. And a lot of times it can be different in different situations, because some men are more than happy to just do everything.
Yes.
You know, like everything, even when you're out together and he's in a shop and you're like with his friend or something, and let's say you want some water, the friend will be like, do you have the money for it? Like, you want some water? It's like, do you have like, oh, I'm thirsty, I'm going to get some water. And like the friend was like, oh, this is your, like, here, like, have some water, you know? So like he covers everything. And whenever you kind of try step in and give, he's like, gets a bit like, like he doesn't like it, you know? It's like he feels like a bit demasculated, or maybe when he feels like you're trying to impress him and he's like, we're not there yet. I want to charm you. I want to take over, you know? So there are men like that. And I definitely had amazing experience with that.
Those are great guys. We like those guys.
Yeah, so it's really nice. However, not every guy is like that. And I think for us as women, what I would say it's okay to date him as long as you're giving less than 50-50, then it's okay to date him.
Yes.
So I would even say a percentage, as long as you're giving money-wise 30%, maybe sometimes it happens 40, but when you go down to 30, you know, so like some men will, it's a good measure, and some men will expect it.
Yes.
So where I was telling you example with the lady that earns more than my cousin, right? She was not buying him big stuff. She just earns more for her money, her money, her account. He doesn't go into it. He still uses his money and treats her right. He just knows that she earns more.
Love that.
Okay, so this is like,
that's the key. Absolutely, love it. Good caveat. Number 9 is, what are his judgments on a woman's history with men, her body count, her past trauma? Maybe she was molested, or what do you think this good man, when he looks at a woman, what does he think about her past? Her sexual past?
I personally think that we should not share it anyway, because it's, first of all, it's none of his business, and second of all, who are you to judge me? You know, it's like, be the first to cast the stone at,
absolutely.
You know, like, this is like, I wouldn't even go there. Even if I'm like the most innocent girl ever, he doesn't need to know that.
Absolutely.
Because he might then have this perspective of you that you've been waiting for the right guy your whole life, and you know, he'll just have this image of you, and maybe he'll start to take you for granted later, because he'll be like, you've been waiting around for the whole time, and you know, like you're like, he can do whatever because he's the one forever. You know, he doesn't really need to know that past. Or maybe you have not been this good girl, but then you'll share the stuff with him, and you'll put this emotional baggage on him, which he cannot do anything with it because it's your past. The only thing he can do is overthink it and pick on it.
Oh gosh,
you know. So it's like, so what's the point? So if you do have traumas, if you do have, you know, unresolved issues, you go to somebody that will help you.
Oh yes.
I think a lot of times we need to understand that a lot of people say that yes, a man should be your best friend, and in a way it should, but you need to really learn to understand him in order for it to happen. You can't just like treat him as a bestie as soon as you met him, like, you know, because how are you gonna treat a man as a bestie? Like, he's not your girlfriend. And a lot of women like treat men as their girlfriends, and it's not that. He's a man. So before you treat him as a bestie, you need to get to know him as a man and learn how to compliment him as a man, and then treat him as a bestie accordingly as a man. You know, so, and with a bestie man, you don't need to share your past, because you sharing will not solve anything, will just create more issues. As a bestie female, you can share this stuff because this is how we bond with females. And we feel better for sharing, and she doesn't think that she needs to give you some kind of solutions, and she's not gonna judge or carry those things. You know, it has to be the right girl, of course, too.
Absolutely.
You know, but yeah.
Absolutely, love that. And I think I love the point that, because we're talking about a good man here, even a good man, when you share all of this stuff, he's just gonna overanalyze. He's only gonna like go into his head. And of course, you know, when it comes to things like, you know, sexual traumas, whatever, if it's going to affect marriage or affect the relationship, then go to a therapist, deal with that. And if you need to share it with him, if your therapist says, you know what, share it so he understands, maybe you are a bit weird about certain things, you know, he will, you know, he can work with that, because at least you've worked on it. But the idea of just going out there and doing share, even a good man, even with a good heart, is gonna feel some kind of way. So I agree with Greta 100%. No sharing. It's none of his business.
Exactly.
Like, really, it isn't. Like, and anything else is not serving you, is it?
No, it's past. He wasn't in your past.
Absolutely.
So, like,
and what can you do about it?
Nothing.
Like you said, nothing.
Exactly.
Last question. You've done so well.
Thank you. Thank you.
How does he expect a woman to resolve conflict with him? So you've seen something you don't like, you're in an issue of conflict. How does a good man expect a woman that he's going to choose to handle him with conflict?
I think it's not what he expects. It's more what works for you. You know, so the way I see conflict, right? So a godly man should be a leader, right? And let's say if he is making, let's say he made some decisions for you, if he's making some decisions for your life that you disagree with, but they are better for you, then he's got a point, and I would say you should submit kind of to that, because they are better for you, and by logically thinking you can see it, and like, you know, like
you can see
kind of like same as like my cousin pushing her to go for that interview, and then she's like, you know,
exactly.
So yeah, but if he's pushing you to do something and you look at the Bible, you look at your values, you talk to a friend, you're like, no, this is not better for me, you're trying to put me down because you're the one that's feeling insecure, then you set in a boundary, you know. So it's not how he would expect you to handle conflict, it's kind of how it works. So I think what man will tell you that we want is that you should just listen to him and let him lead, you know, at all times. The truth is, people are not perfect people, and yes, if he's making decisions that are better for you, you should let him lead. But if you can see that the decisions that he's making for you are, you know, be not aligned with the Bible, be not aligned with the logic, you can see that he's trying to make you, put you down, and like because he's feeling insecure, then obviously you set in a boundary. And I think what's important for us women is to learn how to set in boundaries in a feminine way. And I don't think a man can expect that, because he is not a woman, so he will not know how you could set in boundaries like with him in a feminine way. He can only know how he would set it in boundaries with you from his masculine way. So I think it's kind of like important to see what kind of works and how you should be as a woman, rather than asking him to lead you in that or taking advice from that. You know,
100%. And what I'm hearing you say, and my tummy's like, breakfast. What I'm hearing you say is like, conflict is resolved in a high value way in this way, basically, in you setting boundaries when it's not, you know, when it's not in alignment to you, your beliefs, your faith, you know, and logic. I love that. Setting a boundary, and you can do that in a high value feminine way. Or, you know, submit, right? I love that. And I think a good man would almost expect that sort of conduct. He would expect, he'd be, oh, maybe he might not like it for sure, but he would respect it. He'll respect it.
This is where you can have a bit not a bit, but as a woman, you should have a bit of like you know, a bit of standing your ground, a bit of grit, you know. So it's like, so he feels that, and that's what actually becomes intriguing for him, and you know, and he kind of like leans towards you more, you know, because it's something that he didn't expect or cannot control, you know, and cannot manipulate or play with, and that's very attractive, and it shows so much self-respect, you know. So, and this is what ladies men fall for. As soon as he feels that you just do whatever he likes, and he tells you, let's say, even like, I'm a godly man and things should go this way, and you just do it like that, you know, yes, that's nice for him, but it also gets boring. So for you to bring a bit of a grit, as we say, you know, by standing up for yourself in a feminine, godly way, you'll be like, ooh, you know, like, and he'll listen to your point.
I love it, and it is attractive, because I think bad guys or low value guys will punish a woman for standing up for herself. You know, they'll sulk, and that's how you know. A lot
of guys will, but after a while we will calm down and we'll see things logically and be like, yeah, but she respected herself. Like, what can you say to somebody that when you clear all the emotions out, you just see logically that we just showed self-respect? Nothing. It doesn't make sense to say anything to that. It's like, well, to you it's clear, to him it's clear.
And it would be clear if Coach Greta was coaching you, she'd make it
I would make it very clear. And you would be standing there and be like, I'm not texting him because This is what I said, and it's very clear compared to his BS here. So I'm standing with that.
Yes, so if you have no guts, you know where to go. Because that's where I go. I'm like, girl, she's like, time to grab. Right? So, you know, absolutely. Thank you for your time.
Oh,
I know we're very privileged
me.
To have Greta here on the channel. No. I love spending time with her. We've had so much fun in Dorset. And it was so good for you to answer these questions and be part of this series. I really feel like our ladies have got so much value. If you haven't got value in this, then you were not listening. So absolutely. Now, Greta, tell us, how can our tribe find you online?
I wrote an ebook, ladies.
Yes.
It's called Devoted Relationships, and it's Christian based. And I would recommend you to get it.
Get it. Where are they going to get it?
They can get it on my website, gretabereisaite.com, and all my links, my YouTube channel, of course, like similar to Chengi's in so many ways. My name, Greta Bereisaite. But if you want like a nice, neat version of things, Christian.
Yeah.
I made it very Christian.
Yay.
Like, I'm so happy with it. This is so Christian. I have an ebook.
Brilliant. I love that.
Devoted Relationships. Yeah.
Devoted. I love that.
It's
I still got to read that.
Fresh.
It's like, amazing. Yeah. In fact, I came here to read the book and then she stayed. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put all the links in the description. So do check out the description so you can find her on Instagram. Instagram is Ladies Relationship Coach, right?
Instagram Ladies Relationship Coach, YouTube channel Greta Bereisaite, my website Greta Bereisaite.
Yeah, so put all the links, I'll put all the links down there in the description. Make sure you go and check them out and follow her, support her work, because she's just an amazing compliment to the Black Swan Relationship Academy. So thank you for coming. Thank you also for watching.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
It's been such a pleasure.
Yay. And you can see our video on her channel as well. So go watch that.
Yes, of course.
Take care of yourselves. Love you lots, and we'll see you in our next video.
Kisses. Bye.